Bengals at Panthers this weekend. Bengals at Panthers this weekend. The NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. So guess what? Week 3 will be largely forgotten by Monday. And that's a lesson for both of these teams, Panthers and Bengals. Let's say the Bengals go out there and boat race the Bengals. The Panthers go out there and boat race the Bengals, is what I meant to say that. Then you enter into next week and everybody's talking about how the Bengals stink and how the Panthers are all these awesome things because you did something for the league lately. Now let's say the opposite happens. Let's say the Bengals boat race the Panthers. That week 3, good vibes, Andy Dalton win goes right out the window. And suddenly, Dave Canales will be right in everybody's crosshairs again. And the roster won't be as good. And oh, this and oh, that. And it's going to be the sky is falling. Whatever you did last week, you have to do it again. And if you don't get all the way there, you at least have to be close. Do you know how I know that's the case? Is anyone talking about the Saints right now? Anybody talking about the New Orleans Saints right now? No. You can watch hours of national television talking about the NFL. It's 24 hours nowadays. Saints might pop up a few times. They lost to Philly 15-12 last week. Everybody forgot Derrick Carr was the MVP of the first 2 weeks. Everybody forgot their offense scored on like 9 consecutive possessions, touchdowns. Everybody forgot that Rashid Shaheed can run by anybody and just catch a deep ball. It's a what have you done for me likely league. Another example. Last night I'm watching Thursday Night Football, and then, I always like to explain my nerddom. Not only do I watch the full game, which was boring, by the way, a lot of penalties, but then I watched the entire post game on Amazon with Richard Sherman and that crew. And I'm watching Tony Gonzalez, and I'm watching this thing, and it's going on and on and on. And at the end, they just start making fun of the NFC South for no reason. Laughing at the possibility of the NFC South having playoff teams. And I was like, before week 3, over the first 2 weeks of the season, non-Panther edition of the NFC South was 5-1. 5-1. Bucks undefeated, Saints undefeated, 2 of the best teams in the league through 2 weeks. Baker Mayfield playing great, Derek Carr playing great. Falcons beat the Eagles on national television. 1 week later, they are a laughingstock. It is a what have you done for me lately league. Last week will be forgotten unless you do it again. Andy Dalton and that offense have to be ready to score and also be ready to play from behind because you're getting an angry Bengals team. They are 0-3. They are desperate, but they are good. Joe Burrow is good. Jamar Chase is good. Especially on their offense, they have something that's going to challenge you, so you have to be prepared to match that. And the more and more this week goes on, the more and more it looks like either you're going to have to play without some key players or they won't be 100%. Damian Lewis, starting guard, out. Robert Hunt, I didn't even know he was dealing with an injury. He didn't finish practice today.
It just happened today.
If those 2 guys are out, your offensive line's looking a lot like it did last year.
Don't remind me.
And nobody will give you that. Nobody is going to say week 3 was awesome, week 4 wasn't great, but week 4 they were dealing with a bunch of injuries. Nobody gets that context in the NFL. Nobody. Dave Canales spoke to the media about guys having to step up due to injuries.
I'm just excited for the guys to get that opportunity. We talk about just the game reps and what that means to these guys, and so we're going to need everybody. We count on all of our guys, our practice squad players as well. They have to continue to service the other side of it, but they also have to be engaged in the game plan, and all of a sudden Jalen Coker's on 53, and so, I love just having those opportunities to challenge guys because as we all grow, it makes the team stronger. So a great opportunity for those guys.
I mean, you knew you were going to get the optimistic answer from Dave Canales about it. You look at somebody and say, or you look at Dave Canales and you say, "Is this glass half empty or half full?" He says, "It looks delicious and I'm thirsty."
I feel great about playing football right now.
Exactly. Injuries are going to make it more difficult, and nobody is going to give you that. Well, I think the Ravens are the ones. The Ravens have shirts that say nobody cares, work harder. Like, that's the NFL mantra.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals are coming to town. They're upset. They're 0-3 because, like I said, it's what have you done for me lately? If they go out and wax the Panthers, everybody's going to go, all right, RELAX, relax. Joe Burrow's fine. Jamar Chase just needed time to get ready from his holdout, and they're good. It happens that quickly. I was talking about this off air. At some point, there's probably 8 games. If you're 6-2 or better, we then let you have a bad game without jumping down your throat and saying you're a bad team. And if you're 2-6 or worse, if you have a good game, we don't immediately go, uh-oh, dark horse. But before that, everything sways. And what did we learn about the Panthers when Andy Dalton took over and suddenly everything changed? Confidence matters for this team, right? They don't play well in a bad mood. They play fantastic in a good mood, but they don't play well in a bad mood. So all of this is going to determine their mood moving forward. It's a gift and a curse. It's you can build off of last week and ride that momentum and cruise into week 5 on a 2-game win streak or on a 2-game played well streak, or you can play poorly again in week 4 and then it looks like a fluke, smells like a fluke. It might just be a fluke. That's the conversation we're going to be having. If I were the Bengals, this is how I would approach this game. If I'm the Cincinnati Bengals on the road against a team that just showed their first signs of life in over a year, I want the ball to start the game. If I win the coin toss, I want the ball. Go full Matt Hasselbeck. We want the ball and we're going to score. Then don't do what Matt Hasselbeck did after that, for those of you who get that reference. I want Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to drop their best plays and T. Higgins and get that whole team on the same page. And I want them to run their best plays on the first drive and go up 7-0. Andy Dalton doesn't even touch the ball yet, and they're down 7-0. And see how Carolina responds, because we don't know how they respond in that situation with Andy Dalton. And I would want to find out if I were the Bengals. If you were bad for a long time and then you were good for a short amount of time, how much bad would it take for you to go to, oh, no, we stink again? If I were the Bengals, I'd want to find out. We get up by 7. Are they going to quit? I want to be like Friday. Fridays we're going to get the crazy movie references. I forget which Austin Powers it is, but do you remember when Dr. Evil had the big stability ball, like the big bouncy ball, and he was just throwing it off of Scotty's face, going, "You going to cry? You going to cry? Scotty, you going to cry?" That's what I would try to do if I were the Bengals. Score quick. You going to cry? No? Huh. All right, let me do this. Let me try to get a stop on defense. Now you going to cry? All right, 7-0 going into the second quarter. You going to cry? Oh, look at that. You got in the run zone, came away with a field goal. You going to cry? The Panthers are exactly 1 week away from being the worst team in the NFL. 1 week in their rearview mirror, they were the worst team in the NFL. I'd try to bring that back out. So, what have you done for me lately? Do it again, 2 consecutive weeks, get the win, get the well-played star, whatever you want to call it. Do what you're supposed to do. Now, all of a sudden, it compounds. And we're all talking about him in the positive way, the way some other teams in the NFL have already earned.